Hey, good morning, Facebook family. Happy Wednesday. Hope your day is off to a great start. Another beautiful sunrise. And man, what another reminder of consistency. Not only is it a blessing just to get out and see this beautiful sunrise, but it's just another reminder of God's consistency in our lives. Something that I think in general, we all struggle with. Everybody struggles with consistency. I know if I don't walk this dog right here and be consistent with him, he's inconsistent with me. But we're consistent together. We get out here, get a walk. But just looking at that sunrise, even if it's hiding behind the clouds right now, I know that sun is coming up. I know that once the clouds go, the sun shines bright, and it's just another reminder. It truly is just another reminder of the consistency of God and what he brings every single morning, every single day. And man, what an amazing gift to have the gift of consistency and a God who loves and cares for you. It truly is. Isn't that beautiful? And you're just coming on to check out the sunrise. That's cool. But there's just something, you know, what's interesting is before you see the sunrise, you see the waves. And what's pretty crazy is the ocean's so inconsistent. Let me just talk to you instead of just talking in. Let me see if we can get that. There we go. The ocean is so inconsistent. The waves, the tide, the ebbs and flows, right? Like life, kind of like life. That, you know, in a moment our whole outlook could be upside down, and maybe the struggles and challenges you face could be ongoing. It could have been, you know, things that have happened over time. But it's just a reminder, another morning, right? Even if you had a lot of junk in your world yesterday, or maybe last week, or maybe the entire year, right? Like some of you, myself included, challenges and struggles the entire year. And the sunrise for me, and I hope maybe for you, if you don't live near one and you can't get out and see one, it's just a reminder of the beautiful gift of consistency. Because if you want to look up to anybody that's consistent, it isn't me. It isn't a coach. It isn't a parent. Certainly isn't like your teenagers, if you have those. They're consistently getting on your nerves, right? If you hear me. But, man, if you're feeling like life is just so inconsistent right now, and you're feeling maybe stuck, because the reality is we don't like change. We like consistency. Believe it or not, even if it's hard for us to be consistent, our lives like it. Like my dog, Owen, likes being consistently given a walk every day. He needs exercise every day. I know when I'm consistent in my exercise, I feel so much better. When I'm consistent in my healthy habits, I'm so much better. But I'll tell you what, when you struggle, it's always nice to come back here and to think of, no matter how many clouds are behind, no matter what the ocean's doing, God's a consistent God. And that's something that if you're struggling, maybe you don't know what this whole faith journey thing is about. Maybe you've heard me talk about God before. And maybe you don't know what it looks like. Maybe you've been burned by churches or by other people who claim to be faith-filled or Christian-y, right? Or religious, you know, whatever you want to call it. But they were not consistent. They disappointed you. And you know, we're in a world filled with a lot of disappointing people, disappointing opinions, disappointing attitudes, all that stuff. And you could focus on that, right? You could focus on that. Or you can turn your focus to, it's going away. You could turn your focus to someone who will be 100% always consistent. Consistent in the amount that he loves you, consistent in being there when you need him, consistent when things are going well, consistent when things aren't going well. You see, one of the things that I look for my life is to be consistent in it. And how I look to it is look to a God who I know is infinitely consistent with me, despite my shortcomings, despite my struggles, despite me maybe not even focused on him, maybe being selfish, because Lord knows that I have selfish motives sometimes, and it gets me. It's part of being human. But I could come back around and look at the sunrise right here. Even if it's behind the clouds, I know consistently that sun, so long as there's a sunrise, so long as there's a sun, that it's going to rise up, right? And it's pretty beautiful, even though sun is spelled S-O-N. If you think of the other sun who rose up for us, a God who loves you so much that he put his son to the cross to die for us and to come back down. See, he rose from the grave. Isn't that pretty crazy to think? Like a sunrise. Isn't that pretty amazing? So it just gives me chills. And as a Christian, you know, who's not afraid to share his faith, one of the things I think is struggle is, oh, don't talk about your religion. I'm not talking about religion. I'm just talking about a personal journey that I have with a God who loves me so much. And the consistency there, I think, is what's holding me together in the times that we have right now in our world. Because I could focus on, you know, I can focus on an election. I can focus on a coronavirus. I can focus on all the businesses that shut down. I can focus on all the stress. I can focus on the anxiety. I can focus on the fear of not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. I can focus on all that stuff. And where does it typically get me? Even if I turn my focus and attention just a little bit to it, I turn it doesn't feel very good. In fact, it's draining. It's exhausting. So for one thing, I can tell you this. The one thing that I'm never exhausted about, the one thing that doesn't ever drain me, it challenges me, but it doesn't ever drain me. When I focus on God and I focus on like just something as simple as a sunrise and being filled with the consistency of God's plan for my life, that's never exhausting. Even if it's challenging, even if it's not maybe the direction I necessarily want to go into, I know that that plan, if I continue to look for his consistency, he's going to show me really, truly what consistency is all about. So I'm just going to leave you with this right now, is I'm going to come up and we're going to talk about consistency a little bit more on the Daily Dose. That's a show at 8 a.m. that I do. It's called The Daily Dose. And I'm not going to be at the beach. I'll be back at my house. And we're going to talk and be encouraged. So if you're feeling like life is consistently upsetting, consistently upside down, consistently all jacked up, consistently in the crap, or consistently just in a terrible spot, I want you to join me for the Daily Dose at 8 a.m. We're going to go into consistency, and we're going to talk about the ways people are consistent. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. And I hope that my message just now finds you well. And I hope that the message that I bring to you at 8 o'clock, if it helps one person, it's worth it to me. That's all I say, is if one person shows up, if one person watches the replay, it's consistent enough for me to keep doing it 114, 15 episodes later. So anyway, take care. God bless. The sun is behind the clouds now, but guess what? It's still there. So get out of the clouds. Come join me at 8 a.m. and we'll talk soon. Take care.